Welcome to techsteppers.com. So today I'm going to tell about installation of Linux operating system and how we install, what are the basic requirements. So before proceeding, I just want to brief you what is actually the operating system. So operating system is a system software that help to interact applications with the hardware. So if we don't have operating system, we cannot think of using any like mobile, any laptop, any server, any kind of hardware. So operating system is playing a vital role to get the machine working for us humans. It translates everything interactively from front end to the back end. So back end is here hardware, and today's session I'm going to tell you how we install Linux operating system. Linux is playing a very vital role in information technology, and day by day open source technology is becoming very popular. So just in continuation of this process, I'm going to demonstrate today how to install Linux operating system. Before that, we need to know the hardware requirements. So in my session I'm going to show you CentOS operating system. So CentOS is a community enterprise operating system. This is a open source community that is active since many years. Even I remember I have been working on this since last 12 years, and they build a secure and very interactive operating system, which is just Red Hat like operating system, but just a one version back of Red Hat. And this is free of cost. You can even download its source code, you can tweak it. So now, before installation, we should know what are the hardware requirements to install your operating system. So I go to CentOS website, and if I show you here, it's showing hardware requirements. We can see here as per Red Hat recommendations. Why it's saying Red Hat recommendations? Because this is a copy of Red Hat, but this is a free copy of Red Hat. So minimum hardware requirements are given here, like disk space, that is 2 GB, free memory 256, then the free disk space, so that is as per the number of entries. So that means how much data, how much services we will be running on our machine, we would need resources accordingly. And the basic resources that we have to consider is your RAM, your disk size, and your CPU allocation. So these three are the main resources. So once we know the requirement, we should have a machine. That machine can be a physical machine, that can be a virtual machine. So once we know the requirement, now what we need to do, we need to insert a DVD with operating system, that is the CentOS operating system, into your DVD drive. Or if you are using virtual machine, you use a ISO image, just map that to your virtual machine and then boot your virtual machine. So in my example here, I'm going to show you using the virtual machine. So I will be doing installation of virtual machine, and I will be taking you through various steps. And the version of CentOS I'm going to use here is 7.0, which is the latest one, with many of security features enhanced, enabled, and many of threats, bugs which were there in older operating systems are mitigated in this version. So here is my VM, and I have just switched on my VM here, and you can see we are on the installation screen, that is CentOS 7. Now we have three options here: install CentOS 7, test this media, and install CentOS 7, and troubleshooting. So here we are going to start with install CentOS 7. However, I would like to explain about the second option, that is test this media. What this option does is, before proceeding installation, it first verify your media which you are going to use for installation. That means like the CD or DVD or ISO image that you have mapped for the installation. In case if any package is missing, or maybe the disk is corrupt, or maybe the ISO image is corrupt, it will identify here. And then once it diagnose and identify that the disk is okay, it will not start the installation. So it verify the media first, and then it start the installation. And the third one is troubleshooting. That means you already have a working VM, already have a working server installation, but somehow that is not working. Maybe you got your operating system corrupt. So in that case, you boot your operating system again using the media, and then you go to the troubleshooting, and then you troubleshoot. Probably this is very interesting part also, and I will be covering this in my later videos. For now, today we will start with the installation, and I'm not going to use the second option because this will take a lot of time to verify the media, because the media size is around 4.3 gigabyte, and it will take a lot of time, around 30 minutes, to verify the whole media and all the files in that media. So I'm just going to start directly install CentOS 7. However, I would recommend all of you, if you really want to save time, don't worry about 30 minutes. Verify your media first, because if media is corrupt, then at a later stage your installation will be cancelled. But for now, I'm going to install with install CentOS 7 option here. So I press enter, and now it takes us to the next screen, wherein what happened, we have to check. Okay, so this was because of wrong mapping of ISO, and now you can see after having the right ISO image mounted, we can see here it has started checking the system requirements. Like, it's now looking for the disk that we have placed, the RAM, the all the hardware parameters which are required. It's looking for all those, and then now it's just doing a quick check, and then it will start the installation process. So this process takes some time, and once it's gone through, we will be on the next step of the installation. So now we can see here it's going through, and it's looking for all the parameters, all the modules that operating system has, and every module has some system requirements. All those requirements are scanned, verified, and then it progressed to the next level. So once this grub process looks for all the modules and the hardware requirements, it take us to the next screen, where we need to provide the information, like if we are planning for default directory structure, or we want to make directory structure at our own. So like those. So the first thing is like to choose the language. So we will keep English as a default language, and we'll keep English United States. So that looks good. We click on continue. Now here we have multiple options that we have to select, like date and time, then the language support that we already selected, installation source we already have selected, and you will see here other options like kdump, that is for security purpose. If our systems crash, then we can probably use this as well as an option. So let's start with date and time first. We should always select the time zone. So at the moment, like I'm sitting in Netherlands, so I will use Europe, and I will use city of my place, and then we can choose time accordingly. So it's here 1949. I selected that, and then I accordingly the date is correct here, so that looks good, and then I click done. So you see it's all very interactive here. Then language support is already selected. Installation definition we can see here. So see here, this is important part, because here we are going to define the disk. So we have two options: either we go with the default partitioning. uh, Today I'm not going to explain in detail about the partitioning. Probably I will be covering in my another video, where I will be explaining about partitioning, logical volumes, and many other things that we can do with the disk. But here just a brief, like the partitioning is the feature of OS installation, where we choose the directory structure we want for our operating system installation, like for our server installation. So here the first option is automatically configure partitioning, and then the other one is I will configure partitioning. So just as a first step, today I'm going to progress with automatic configuration. Next time I will be showing you how to configure manually partition and how to define the LVMs. So we select done here. Then you can also choose for other options like installation destination, automatic partitioning we already have detected, then the software selection. So here is another important step, and as a good system administrator, never install multiple packages. You should always install your server operating system as a minimal install, because as a minimal install it's just a very bare metal installation. Only the operating system's required packages will be there. Rest we should install as per the requirement of the server. Like what will be the purpose of this server? Like let's say if this server is going to be a web server, we will just install web applications and web packages. If this will be a file server, we will just install file server related packages. If this is going to be a mail server, we just install mail server related packages. So always start with minimal install, and we will do the same. We will start with the minimal install, and now you can see begin installation is here active. Earlier it was grayed here because we were not we had not given any option here, but now we have option selected, and now we start begin installation. Now we need to keep password here obviously, so we will go for root password. I set up a password here. Always keep in mind that you are keeping a good strong password, and then done. You can also create user if you want. Then you can just create a user here, and username we will use techstappers, and then password we keep here. And also see here you have two options: make this user administrator, require a password to use this account. So always use this option very safely, because ideally you should not make every user administrator, because that is destructive. So here I'm not going to make this user as administrator, but I will just use it as create it as a simple user. Okay, so now also we need to provide password here. And also just to add one thing, even if you don't use this option at this moment, later stage once your operating system is installed, you can always make a user administrator, and that is also something I'm going to show you in my next videos. And under advanced section here you can see, so this is the default home directory for the user. If you want, you can change this. Also there are users and groups. You can mention user and groups as per your requirement. And also group membership, if you have multiple groups you can even assign multiple groups here. This is again very specific OS administration related task, and probably you will have to wait for my other videos where I will be covering all these topics as a advanced administration. So for now we are doing done, and now you can see here the installation is already progressing, so it will take a while because you can see here 180 packages and still we have 309 packages, so it's going to take time. So as we see here installation is progressing a little fast now, and it's reached 283. So just few more packages remaining and then we are almost done. So then it just do the verification of all the packages, the disk system, disk partitioning that has been created, and then we are ready to get into the VM. So like it's performing post installation setup task. So now it will take some time. You will have to be little bit patient here. You have to keep some patience and till it verify everything. So now we can see installation is complete, and after installation completion, the first part is now we need to reboot this. So we are going to reboot our fresh installed operating system. It's gonna take a while to come up again, and then we can log in and start preparing our machine. So now we can see here our system is rebooted, and we just log in here as a root. We put in the password that we set at the time of installation, and see here. Now we can see here. So there are a few things that we have to set, like host name is not set. We can see the IP address. It has a machine, but still IP is not acquired. So like these are now few basic things that we have to take care of, and these are the basic administration part. Now what we have to do, how we have to configure it, so this is something I will be covering in my next video. Thank you very much for watching the video, and stay tuned, and I request you to please subscribe to my channel and click the bell button, so that you are alarmed, alerted every time whenever I'm adding a video. Thank you very much for being with me, and keep watching my video, keep supporting, keep liking. Thank you very much.